Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome back to the Xbox One version of World of Tanks. And also we can say hello to a returning submitter. This is MadFridayTV, who we have had on before. Now this is the only way I can show Xbox footage of World of Tanks is by people sending it to me, basically, after recording it themselves. I don't have any means of recording footage myself, and I'm still unclear on if there are such things as replay files on the Xbox version, or if it's all just, you know, you record it or else you don't ever save it kind of thing, which is kind of true in some games, like Armored Warfare at the moment. If you don't record it, then there's no way of saving it. But there are replays coming to Armored Warfare in the next big patch, so that's going to be interesting. I think we might see some Armored Warfare, more Armored Warfare gameplay appearing out of that. So he's in the Object 430, one of the Soviet Tier 10 mediums, and he's actually on a familiar map, Live Oaks, although we've got some weather effects going here, but it's an encounter battle. So all the way up in the top left corner there is Cap Circle, which is, yeah, it's kind of, it's a very familiar map, but an unfamiliar scenario, because of course where the Cap Circle is and how many Cap Circles there are dramatically, that's the word, changes how a map actually plays. Now he's taking a bit of damage here, and I don't know that I'd want to face hug an IS-7, but he's, I think, counting on the fact that this guy has got a controller to contend with. He's not actually able to be as responsive as you could be when using a keyboard and mouse. And this is still a thing you can do on the PC version, is especially in some of the more mobile mediums, as a lot of these Russian ones are. You can get up and harass somebody in the face and count on your troll, especially turret armor, to bounce a bunch of shots. But while he has bounced some shots, he's taken more than he's bounced, so he's not got a lot of health left at this point. And that's not great, because the battle's really only just sort of gotten underway. Now he takes his tracks off again, which is unfortunate, but the E100 has multiple things shooting at him. His attention is just all over the place at the moment, so he could pose a serious threat to MadFriday, but no, he was dividing his attention and shooting at different targets. And so, although it was a rather painful encounter, that is two top tier heavy tanks down, and also MadFriday is still alive, but only really just. So he's pressing forward. He's actually lost his platoon mate already, which is a little unfortunate. There's a number of tanks behind him as well, a pair of mediums and a heavy. Of course, I can't see what they are without... If MadFriday himself doesn't look back at them. There's no labels on the minimap, and there's no kind of... Yeah, there's information I'm used to having on the PC version that, of course, this is information provided with the footage as is. It's impossible for me to know unless MadFriday happens to look. So there's enemy RT spotted, and that's always a satisfying thing to kill, but in this kind of situation, a very useful thing to kill as well, because the enemy team at the moment is on the cap circle and was actually getting quite close to capping. They're down to 30 seconds. But although they are outnumbered, his allies in the city are putting a bit of pressure on. And they've actually managed to reset at least one tank there. So they're contesting things, at least. It's not that it's going to be up to MadFriday to try and scramble madly to get up there to make a difference. Because sometimes it's unfortunately like that. It feels like you have to do all of the work because your allies are just being extremely passive. But fortunately in this case, no, that was not how it was going down at all. Now I can see that pattern is keeping pace with him. There's a heavy to his left as well. There's also a heavy down in H9, and I think that's actually the IS-7 on his team. And you'll see on the end score screen, the IS-7 doesn't do really anything at all, and it's entirely possible, given the fact he's just stationary for this middle part of the battle, that he had to, I don't know, he got called away from his console basically. So it's very tempting to point and go noob, but the fact that they were moving to start with and then stopped and then sort of woke up a bit later on, it's probably entirely beyond their control. They probably had to step away from the console. So his allies are just about surviving, hanging on in town, but they're being very hard pressed, and this sort of charging in and doing a bit of damage and hopefully relieving his allies. That bounce, that was so lucky. That has happened just in the nick of time. But there are a lot of very healthy enemies left alive, including this M103, who was, up until a moment ago, full health. Now, again, he's doing the same thing I think he was trying to do with the IS-7 and the E-100. And I think he just bounced an allied shot there. Yeah, he's just harrying this guy, trying to keep below his gun and trying to play off the slower reactions that one is going to end up having with thumbsticks as opposed to a keyboard and mouse. Now, the M103 is down, which is fine, but now he's got a pair of angry T110 E4s to deal with, and he's only got the allies, I think, that came with him now at this point. The IS-7 is now moving again, but they're going to take a while to get up to this corner. So it's kind of like, I think Mad Friday is, of these remaining tanks here, I think he's the only tier 10, or am I completely wrong? Is that the pattern that's still, oh, the pattern's still left alive there as well, okay. So, it's not like he's alone here, which is fortunate, because taking on this many enemies alone would be tricky, but yeah, he's still got his work cut out for him. So it's down to that one final T110 E4, and, well, it's close, but they do have the upper hand at this stage. Although, as you can see, the E4 is going for the pattern. So, the pattern, we don't know how long he's going to last for. And the thing with the E4 is, it doesn't have a turret that can turn all the way around, so you can definitely use that to your advantage. And there goes the pattern. But that has given Mad Friday the time to get round behind this guy. You can just hug the sides, get round the rear, and this E4 is kind of screwed, basically. He's not really got a chance at this stage. Getting a mobile medium tank come up behind you. Oh, hello IS-7. Yes, you're a little bit late to the party, but never mind. I mean, I suppose it's the thought that counts, right? Yeah, the E4 actually kind of almost got a chance there with the IS-7 coming in, which was not very helpful as it turned out, but he rushed his shot, which completely missed Mad Friday. So there we go. He's walked away, the victor, and having done rather a lot. Well, I don't know if I'm going to say this is a carry, because you can't really base that maybe on just on what we saw. There was a lot else going on in this game up in the northwest, but it was still a very good game, and he actually got a Radley-Walters out of that, as well as an ace tanker, high caliber, and Devastator medal. And as you can see, easily top of the team, 1900 XP and nearly 8,000 damage. So actually, maybe you could call this a carry. I mean, if his allies hadn't been contesting the cap, he probably wouldn't have had time to get up there. But no, he actually did quite a lot, didn't he? Really? Yeah, that was a lot of damage done for a lot of XP. And as you can see, he actually made most of his shots count. 38 shots fired, 34 hits, 30 pens. So that's why his damage was quite so high. So even in the Xbox version, I mean, I suppose you have to rely on things like auto-aiming a bit more, but making sure your shots land and count and do damage is still incredibly important. Knowing where to aim is still incredibly important. So even though I'm sure there's a little bit more hand-holding going on, it's still, you know, player skill that really does matter at the end of the day. So hopefully you've enjoyed this bit of Xbox action, and if you have, you can leave any comments about it below. You can hit the like button, you can sub to my channel if you aren't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.